Hi there everybody and welcome back to this channel. My name is Cris and I am the manager of Paissa and Bernat. In this week's video I'm here with Masha. She is an Ibiza based photographer and she's going to be telling us all about wedding photography. So Masha, in this video I want you to explain to us what a wedding photographer is and what is important to differentiate wedding photographer from maybe an ordinary photographer.
So wedding photographer, we can do everything. We photograph people, we have to do amazing portraits, we have to do amazing scenery photography, product. So we're specialized on everything. Yeah, so better when you choose a wedding photographer for your wedding, not just any photographer, not a friend, not a friend who does cars or houses or real estate. Because they create the story. The story is not only the faces of a bride and a groom looking happily into the camera. It's a story of everything. You have to be a fashion photographer. You have to photograph their dress nicely hanged. You have to photograph the emotions, then the portraits, then the shoes, the plates, the beautiful decorations, the beautiful flowers. Couples spending so much money on flowers and decorations, so it should be photographed very well, because there is no point to spend that much money and then you don't have any good quality memory and picture of that. At the end of the day, you want to have a story. We are telling the story.
How would you recommend starting off, like they've booked their venue, they've made the big decisions already, and now there's the huge decision, because I think that photography is something that's going to stay with you for years.
Right.
Maybe it's more important than anything else.
Yes, correct.
This is going to stick with you for the next 20, 30, 50 years.
Correct, correct.
So how do you choose the right person? How would that process be of selection, basically?
Going back on how the importance of the wedding photography, of course, it's important because you will probably forget how your even wine tasted, but you will never forget you, and you will see the pictures forever. And not only you, your kids, your grandchildren, so important.
Yeah.
So this is in my opinion, not because I'm a photographer myself, but I think this is the place where the couple should not save. So if they like somebody, if they chose somebody, they should not thinking, okay, this is like 300 euros more than another one. If you like somebody, just choose the person you like. So going back to how do you choose
exactly
the one and only. So obviously your vendor or your wedding planner or the place where you're going to have a wedding, they will probably have a list.
We have that in the website. Remember, you've got your suppliers list there, so you can go through all the options there. It's not limited to that. There's many more options out there.
You start with that list. Very important, you go through the list at your home, not on your iPhone. Please take a time, sit in front of your big laptop, desktop. Don't look only at Instagram on your phone. It's very visual, so you want to see the visual content on the biggest screen you have. So this is the first thing.
What would you say? Is it best to go to your Instagram, your Facebook, your website?
You know what, maybe Instagram makes sense to do first Instagram, just to have a quick look, and then you click with that or not. And then you go to the website, because the website is normally bigger, it's much more information.
So you've narrowed down your choices. Maybe out of this 10 list of photographers, you've narrowed it down to 2. And maybe they're even very different in style. There's something that you're not quite sure what it is, but there's something there. What is the next step?
The next step, you write the photographer. You also, on the website, you can also read about the photographer. You can see if the picture of the photo, if their portrait is just speaking to you. How is their life? Just to have a little bit of the feeling. What is that kind of a person? Because it's a very personal job. It's very, very personal. So we have to be connected with a client. If we're not connected with a client, it's very possible. I worked a lot, like when I'm not feeling this giant connection. We are professionals. I work with anybody, of course. But it's amazing when you do have that connection, that special something.
It makes it more
and then
easier for everyone as well.
Exactly. And then you feel it. You start to feel it when you read about. There's always an about section on the websites about photography. You start to feel it a little bit and really see all the pages on the website. See what they do besides wedding photography, maybe, just see their images. So if they're artistic, if they're very going to fashion, if they're more... And then the next step is, of course, to talk to them. And I really recommend everybody just to have a quick chat. Better through Zoom, of course, better when you see a person. You will feel that. You will feel if it's your person or not, how they speak, if they're chatty or more shy, if they're well-traveled, if they're, if they look good or not, if they wear something that you like. Exactly. There are so many details. And I think eventually you're going from your gut, you're going from your feeling about the person. So
I think they've gone through that process with the venues as well. I mean, it's something that we've spoken about this in Celebrancy, we've spoken about it for the venue, and at the end of the day, it happens with every supplier that you need to have a connection with everyone that's there. Everyone's going to be important, not just your guests, but also all of your suppliers.
Absolutely.
Big decision.
Big decision. Basically, look at the websites, check the style. The style is very important. We have all the different photographers with very different styles. Can be a little bit darker, can be more timeless and airy and light, can be moody, darker moody. Black and whites are always good actually. Just think about like in the 80s and the 90s there were different filters, and when you see those photographs it's very clear they're from those times, and maybe you don't want to go into too much of a filter look. Although it can look really great, just imagine your photographs in 20 years. You want to wear a timeless dress, you don't want to have something strange and too fashionable. You want to have it like more timeless.
I think it's worth asking you something, because they must be thinking that we're crazy talking about these things, and because maybe they don't understand, what we're talking about. So I think it's worth that you explain what your style is like.
10 years I'm working as a wedding photographer, and so I was thinking at the very beginning how my style should be, and yes, I came to the decision that it's best to have timeless look, so which imitates film camera. Film cameras are not the cameras are expensive, but the whole process is very expensive. To have a film photographer at your wedding, we have those in the world, they cost around 50,000 euro a wedding, 40,000, 50,000. Yeah, there are some people in the world that are well known.
What does that mean? That it's film? Is it
they photograph with the film cameras, with the medium format big film cameras. Film means that it's actual film, like in the old times.
Like in the old times.
Exactly, but that gives you the most expensive, beautiful look, in my opinion, because it's just so... it's amazing, the colors, everything. So I do try to imitate film. Many of us try to imitate film. On digital, exactly. So I do shoot digital, although I do have a film camera, and I tried with that, and I try to combine sometimes, but yeah, digital, trying to look like film. It creates this timeless look for people.
It's difficult to understand what timeless is. So, I mean, I've seen your photography, so I think I understand.
Yeah. So it means that the colors are true to life colors.
Okay, so that blue sky
the blue sky is going to be blue, although when you shoot into the sun it's going to be maybe a little bit whitish, white. So but the green will be really green, that lush green, and red is beautiful on film. It's really beautiful. And so the skin colors for me and for other photographers like myself, the skin color is the most important thing. It should be like it is in real life, a little bit better.
Yes,
a little bit better, but it's not greenish or orangey or brown. So it should be like a portrait that you look and you're like, wow, this is the best me, the youngest, the freshness. We try to keep it very fresh. So we add a little bit of, when I edit, I add a little bit of a fresh pink and peachy tones into the skin tones. So skin tones, again, the most important thing.
So basically, when you pay for a photographer, you know, if your hair and makeup don't go perfect, they will help you. Well, especially with the makeup, right?
Yes. Everything that goes to the makeup. Everything what you do on your wedding day, try to look more timeless. Try to not to go too crazy with the makeup, with the hair, with the dress. Just keep it. It's my advice. Again, I'm not in the place to say it for everybody. Everybody has their own ideas. But.
I mean, I've seen brides. I remember a few of them, and when I go into the room and I see them, and they've done really dark eyes.
Yes, not good
for the wedding, and I'm
not good.
You know, and you think, it just makes that area of the face
heavy.
Exactly.
And not only the dark eyeshadows, they also do giant fake lashes. Yeah, well, all together makes it very heavy
and older.
And older, exactly. No, unfortunately, yes, it does. So you do. Of course, you can use some fake lashes, but just a little bit maybe, and try to keep them separated, not with this giant. On your eyes. Because not only that, you will not notice that, but the photographer will notice that. You will put your eyelids lower. Yeah. You want to have big eyes, right? Everybody wants to have big, beautiful eyes.
And so you feel comfortable with the supplier and you decide to go ahead with them and book them. How would you recommend to get comfortable with that person? Because obviously
it's very personal.
I book you today and then you take my pictures in 2 years' time. How can I create a relationship with you and feel comfortable with photography?
Well, it's in ideal world you have a personal meeting with a photographer. If you are in Ibiza before your wedding, take your time, because I think after the venue is the second person you go is the photographer and maybe the videographer. It's very important. to meet that person in person and have a chat, and even better, you can do a little photo session. You can do like a little love story engagement photo session with the photographer. It's just 1 hour, meet somewhere, and then you can use these photos for the invitations. You know, you can.
That's a great idea.
It's and then you train, and then you know how to pose better. Then you are feeling comfortable with that photographer.
Masha did my portraits for my website, for the Cris Crown website, and I thought that this is going to be easy, and I went to this session and you did a great job. I wasn't doing such a great job. It's not easy to loosen up, so I think to go through basically break the shell, you know, feel uncomfortable, feel it's not natural.
It's all the process, it's all funny, and then eventually people relax.
Yes.
Because I don't really pose them like, oh, now you stay like this, you look to the left and you put your right hand. No, I don't pose ever like this. I mean, slightly maybe, but it's more a flow. It's more a flow. You kiss, you laugh, you go around. You don't even stop. You don't even stop and freeze and look in the camera. So I think it's a bit awkward. So I always talk, I chat, I don't stop talking, and then I photograph. When I see something amazing, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, now freeze. Then is the moment to freeze. But this is just one little moment. But the whole process, and 99%, it's all in the flow and all in, you know, like giggling and laughing.
I 100% recommend that they do. So, I mean, I've told everyone, if you're coming for the tasting event, speak to your photographer, do an engagement session, do something to practice, because it's just not easy.
1 hour, yeah. And then you also will feel that connection more, and you will be like, oh, this is a good decision, or well,
hopefully it's a good decision.
It's going to be a good decision, because we're very good here in Ibiza.
But the good thing is that they've practiced, and then the wedding day comes, and so they've got a package of 8 hours. You know, that you haven't got those first 2 hours where you're completely awkward, you don't know who this person is.
Exactly, that happens a lot to me. I actually enter the room and I see the bride and I don't even know who the bride is. It was happening before Zoom times more, because you know, and everybody's sitting and everybody is blonde and everybody has some kind of a makeup on.
Exactly, everyone's looking beautiful.
Everybody's looking beautiful. I'm like,
until someone goes like this.
And it's funny, but it happened, and that's okay too. You know, it's not the end of the world. It can happen. It's really not the end of the world. Of course, it's better when you do have that either session or chat, or you go a little bit more personal.
I mean, a coffee is basically inexpensive, and then I think a photo shooting session is quite inexpensive when you're thinking about the overall budget of a wedding. Like,
no, it's very inexpensive. The 1-2 hours, and plus, as I said, you can actually practically use those photos for the invitation, or you know, for the websites. You can be creative, you can wear any clothes. It's like showing really your love, because on the wedding day is completely different, because the wedding day is not a photo session. The wedding day is your wedding day, where you have fun and you don't really want to think about photographer or taking pictures, because this is not about that.
Some of you have asked if you could go off to Esvedra, and that's an option, but these sessions where you come together with your photographer and it's completely on a separate timeline to the wedding, I think that's a great time to go off to Esvedra or Dalvila. I like the Old Town.
Old Town is amazing, and that's also an option sometimes to do it after the wedding, if you really have to be in your amazing wedding dress. So you can do it, you can go next day or 2 days after. This is also a great way if you don't want to dedicate too much time during the wedding.
I mean, what's your recommendation on leaving the venue? Doesn't matter what venue, actually, at the end of the day, and going to another location and coming back for photos.
This doesn't really work. Because you don't have time. People think they have time, but
you're rushing.
You're rushing, and you're stressing, and you actually, at the moment, you don't want it. You want to be
I think they forget also about the heat, right?
Yeah, it's very hot. You want to drink, you want to chat with the people. It's a lot of attention from your relatives and friends, and people normally don't want to leave at all in that moment. And even when we discuss, okay, we're going to leave and do that, how many times the same... They change their mind. They say, no, we're going to not leave, and we only have like 10 minutes.
Not worth it.
No, not worth to leave the location. Definitely no. So, and normally all the wedding venues in Ibiza, they're also like Paissa, one of my favorites. They're very photogenic locations, so you don't really need to leave.
Exactly. You've chosen a pretty setting.
Exactly.
So,
You choose the project not for nothing. sunset, sea, greenery. It's all very pretty here, and so.
I mean, something that I think that the couples don't know is that you actually you take them to like secret corners of the venue. It's not always going to be those areas where you see everyone, and every photographer, you know, at the end of the day, when they get familiar with the venue, they start exploring. So they kind of take. I've seen couples off behind the bushes in Paissa with Masha. So you know, I think that's kind of.
You start to explore, you start to find new, and then also the day can be different, you know, can be sunset from that side and then it moves, and one part of the year there are these beautiful flowers on that part of the venue. Like it's always different, so it's never the same. For each couple I take a very, very unique approach.
Now, let me ask you another question. So they've made the decision on who their photographer is going to be, and then usually photographers have options of 3 packages usually.
Exactly.
I'm not going to go into the detail of what this costs or what it exactly covers, but usually you'll have something between 4 hours, 8 hours and 10 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
What type of coverage would you recommend?
So I do recommend, I have only 2 packages, so I used to
easy.
have like 3, 4, it was complicated. People just book me either for 8 hours or for the full day.
Is 8 hours, so 8 hours is not the full day?
8 hours is a full day. No. You, in a place like Paissa, for example, 8 hours, I would say 90% of the cases, it's enough. Because you're at the same place, you start. So normally, how do I start?
Yes,
because
let's go through the day. Yeah,
exactly. So people understand why 8 hours, why 12 hours, why this. So I normally arrive about 2 hours before the ceremony.
Okay.
So when the bride is doing the makeup and hair, that's when I arrive. And I think this is very, very important moment. And normally the pictures from that moment are the most beautiful. And how many times I heard that too from the brides. Those images are wow. They're very tender, they're very intimate. So you do the bride, you do the dress, you do the shoes, you do the flowers, you do a little bit of the venue. So it's a lot of things, a lot of emotions. And
everything's coming together. So
everything comes together.
It's
like a good start of a story again. The couple have invitations and the rings and the shoot. I create like a beautiful scenario from that. Yeah, and that takes time. It takes a little bit of a time and a thought. So, and it's like a beautiful start into your wedding day. It's a beautiful start of that story.
The details.
Exactly, the details. Groom is getting ready. He's all nervous and sweaty and putting on the suit, and then the dress. The bride put on the dress, and the mother holds. It's all beautiful. And then I stay with the bride when she's getting ready till the end, to the very end. So she comes out. I can talk about Paissa because it's right here. Everything is right here. You don't need to drive.
It helps, right, that they're getting ready on location.
It helps so much.
Everyone.
Yeah, it takes off edge and a lot of in the perfect scenario, the bride and the groom are getting ready right there, right where the ceremony is. So this takes a lot of edge, and it's very easy. And then the bride is there, and then the makeup and the hair look very fresh, and the dress is very fresh, and you don't need to drive, and the dress gets all wrinkly, and your hair already start to anyway.
Well, yeah, the dampness of the island is what it is.
Exactly, and then you start to sweat because it's probably going to be hot. So and I stay through all this time. I'm not really too much into bride's face. I don't like to be too much with my camera. I really stay in the background, but I like to photograph that. I like to record these memories for them. And so yeah, that's why this is very important for me to come 1.5 to 2 hours before the actual ceremony.
Okay.
And guests arrive, and I come out. I kind of, what I do at Paissa, which is also very convenient because I can be also with the guests.
Be everywhere.
So I can be everywhere. I kind of plan it. I say, okay, I tell to the brides, don't put the dress without me. So it's all about communication, and it's very easy. There is no stress. Try to take the edge off, actually. For the groom, I normally stay with the groom 10 to 15 minutes. I don't need to spend more time with the groom. We pretend that we put the jacket on, we do this, we do that. And
the groomsmen.
The groomsmen, we do the picture, and that's it. The men, they're normally not really into that.
Yeah, yes.
Men want to do it fast, normally.
And the women, usually, there's more of a process to it.
The woman is more a process. It's really beautiful photographs when you put on the makeup. It's really coming really, really nice.
Yeah, with that backlight.
The backlight with this window, it's so beautiful. So that's why I'm staying longer with the bride normally.
Yeah.
And then in between I run to the guests and I see them arriving, but I will have more time to shoot the guests also after I can explain it.
Go for it. Now?
Ceremony, of course, I'm always with them, always in the ceremony. I really recommend to, during the ceremony for the guests not to use their iPhones.
Yes, so we will have all our celebrants say this.
Very important, also for the photographer, because people go like this. They go really with their hands in front of my camera so many times, and they don't look well. And I understand this. This is all like
they're like this. That's the problem as well.
And then the worst, they are not in the moment of the beautiful ceremony to celebrate that moment with the bride and the groom. They are actually thinking how they're gonna. So they're looking
how they're gonna show this on Instagram.
This is not good. Not good, because it's just not necessary. We're already there. The videographer is there. The photographer is there. We're gonna take much better pictures.
Disconnected weddings.
And you stay present, you stay connected. Very important. And you don't throw your hand in front of my camera, because you're gonna just make the bride and the groom will be not happy about it. It's not about me as to make this perfect photograph when they come out, for example, from the ceremony. They come out and it's a beautiful image, can be or not, if somebody goes like this with a phone
in front of
and
camera.
that ruins not my experience. It ruins actually something what I like to give for the couple.
And then so during the ceremony you move around.
I
right?
move around. I never stop. I move around. I have my my 2 cameras hanging. I have extra long lenses to get the details. So I'm always there. I photograph the guests, obviously the emotions, the tears.
Yeah, those
Hopefully
are really
people.
nice pictures.
Yes, hopefully people cry. I really love. I cry sometimes too a little bit. It's really some weddings are really emotional. Some ceremonies are super emotional. So then there is a very beautiful photojournalistic moment where everybody comes and hugs the bride and the groom. And I normally do these pictures black and white because it's very emotional, very documentary. Because you never stay as a bride. You never stay in the perfect light. You never stay in the perfect position.
Not posed. It's
not
natural.
posed at all. So it's really looking good black and white. So I really do a lot of black and whites. It looks very cool.
You mean, so is the option only in black and white?
Well, I never had a complaint for my 10 years, so I normally deliver around 20% of all the photographs black and white.
Okay.
So first of all, can be not the perfect lighting, and you cannot really correct this lighting in the post-production.
editing.
And the second scenario is very emotional. So much emotion, then the colors are taking too much attention. So you want to keep it.
I didn't understand that about black and white photography.
Yeah, it's the emotion, like the old grandfather is crying and hugging the. It's so intense that the colors, even the red or the green, it takes away. It's distracting, exactly. So you wanna just put the
focus on the
focus
emotion.
Exactly on the faces.
Right.
So that's why I like to do black and white.
Okay, and so how is a cocktail reception for you as a photographer? What do you do?
It's beautiful. I just walk around and I photograph guests, smiles, hugs, champagne, all these moments. People always also tell me, we don't want to have post photographs, we don't want to be disturbed too much. And so 99% of each wedding is not post. It's all documentary, it's all photojournalism, it's
On
all
the move.
On the move. People do post sometimes in the camera like this, but this is it's 1, 2, 3, 5% from the wedding. But the rest of the wedding, people, bride and groom ceremony, during the ceremony, nobody poses. No. So, as I said, 90% of the wedding is not posed at all. It's all the flow, it's all how it is. The only posed photographs that we see, and you see it a lot of also in our portfolios, we do like to show those photographs, those dramatic sunset, just the couple. It's when we have that 10 minutes to half an hour moment just with the couple, and I really recommend every wedding, every couple to take their time, and more time you have, 20 minutes, give me at least 20 minutes. It's ideal.
Look, so that usually the cocktail reception, so you got your 30-minute welcome drink, 30-minute ceremony, and then you got an hour and a half cocktail reception. I have recommended that anyone that has a larger party, that they extend that to 2. The reason it being an hour and a half is because we are thinking already in the first hour, you're going to have a drink, you're going to have your canapes, you're going to relax, you're going to You know, because
Yeah.
it takes some time to kind of feel the flow. You know,
People
everyone's
will talk
relaxed
to you.
right
People
on
will
through.
talk to you. People will attack you. Not attack
Not
you,
attack you, but want to be with you. They want to be
people
with
want
you.
to be with you. People will, and this is so natural. And I want my couples to enjoy that moment.
Yeah, so the photographer at this time doesn't interfere.
No.
And then that last 30 minutes.
And then the last 30 minutes,
That's for
I
you.
really recommend people to just take a moment and to go just with me. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, you will have those photographs where it's just two of you. It's gonna be these photographs. It's not gonna be a photo where you got ready, or it's probably not gonna be the picture where you sit in the ceremony. It's gonna be those pictures that you're gonna print big.
Yeah,
and keep it, because there's gonna be the photographs where it's nobody else is in
the
the
story
image.
is you.
So, yeah, it's very recommended, because otherwise you will not have the image where it's just two of you. It's going to be always somebody there, and it's not something what people tend to like after. No, it's all beautiful photojournalistic pictures. It's all part of the story, but
So even if
This.
if you're not thinking about it, just even if it's 10 minutes, give them.
even when it's 10 minutes, and we wedding photographers, this is also our speciality. We work very fast. In those 10 minutes I can achieve 20 photographs from different angles, close-ups, far away, so it's gonna look like different scenarios. It's not gonna be just one picture where you kiss
20 times the same one.
It's 20 times the same one. No. This is also, and I can do it in the worst light, in the darkness, actually even in 5 minutes. I mean, what we have done sometimes.
And what do you do in that? So in this 10 minutes, do you ask them to whisper something in their ears? Do you...
Exactly. No, we take what it's very individual too, you know. Sometimes there are couples that are so natural and they're so in love and they move like they're tigers, and it's very it's very natural then, and it's beautiful. It makes my job very easy, and they're naturals.
And then there's people that are a
And
bit
there's
more
people
stiff.
who are more shy, who are more stiff, but that's okay, you know. I tell them to take their hands, to walk a couple times then back, and then to stop, just to have a little kiss, just to close the eyes, to hug from this. So I do give a little bit of the direction. So that's the moment where is my communication is essential.
Exactly.
And it's important to trust your photographer. Don't trust your photographer, because they know the venue, they know the light, they know what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
So don't try to say like, yeah, maybe it's better.
Don't micromanage, basically.
No. Just be as a couple there, without any friends, without any girlfriends, without the mother.
Don't say that.
Just be in this moment. Just be alone. So you don't want to have. I obviously will take you to the place where is nobody there, because you don't want many people to watch you, because then you get shy, then you get stiff. So we go to the place where it's only me and you, and I think it's so much better, because then you are so much more relaxed.
At this time of the day, do you usually get a list, or do you ask the couple for a list of must-have pictures, and is it this time that it happens, or do you not?
We never had that. I mean, sometimes people send me the list of very important relatives, but I do figure out who is important. I do know who is the mother. I know who the parents are, brothers and sisters, and I always make sure that I have them on the camera. I photograph basically every little detail, and I think everybody does. Every wedding photographer, they have the scenario in their head and they know what to do, and so trust your photographer. Unless you have something very specific, goals that you want to do with your girlfriends, with this jacket. I experienced that one time. There was a jeans jacket with some saying here. So, and the bride told me, please remind me to do that picture.
And then got the meal during that time.
During that time I don't stop. I never stop.
we do feed her. she does stop for a little bite to eat.
Yeah. No. I do have a little bite. Literally at the same moment when you have a bite. So this is the only one time I don't photograph and you don't see me around.
They're not great pictures, are they?
When you do actively eat,
yeah,
I don't want to photograph you when you eat. But so my speciality is, and I think this is very important, for me it's very important, I don't know, I go around the tables when people sit, so I have a better control. So I do photograph every single guest from your wedding. I try to make a very nice portrait of every single guest, or a couple if they prefer to pose together. And then when people sit, I actually have a control of which table I photographed, which not. So I go around first table, then I go the second.
Then like that you don't miss anyone.
Exactly, so I don't miss anybody, because that can happen.
Exactly.
But that way I don't miss anybody. And maybe that person is very important for the bride and the groom, and the photographer misses, and this is not good. Already see me, they normally posing, they're at the happy place. And of course, not when they eat. It's a long time at the table where people not actively eating. People start to do speeches.
Drinks at the beginning.
People do
toasting.
So this is all great. This makes all very good photographs. And then when people actually sit down, it makes really good portrait, because when they sit and I'm standing, the angle is really good.
And then after that you've got speeches.
I photograph everybody.
I mean, the only downside of speeches sometimes is that it happens sometimes once the sun's gone down.
Well, I do have my flash. I have my flash. I try to photograph the majority of the wedding without the flash, because with the flash you have to be close to the couple, and it's a little bit intense. It's like,
yeah.
So it is better not. But then I use my flash. I have few cameras. I have few flashes. So yeah.
I mean, I've recommended to the couples to look at the sunset time and to try and kind of get the open bar happening, so that there is a little bit of daylight.
Daylight is always the best. More daylight we have, meaning photographers and videographers. Better galleries, better everything. It's just warm, it's beautiful, it's very soft, it's very good for your skin. You look just amazing.
Natural.
Very natural, yeah. And yeah, again, at the wedding photography, you do want to look natural.
Yeah.
It's very important.
And then you move on to the part of the party.
Yeah, the party is fun. I definitely use my flash at that point.
Yes.
So I use the additional lighting, and everybody does, obviously. And people dance, people relax, people have few drinks, so they're more relaxed.
Yes.
They're smiling.
Those are not posed at all.
Those are not posed at all. I'm kind of wrapping it for the day scenario. So it's also very important for me to have a few dancing pictures, because it shows, to show the party, to show those crazy moves.
It tells the whole day.
Exactly. So
finishing.
Obviously I do have a cake cutting if they have, and it's beautiful to have the first dance, but I always have that.
Yeah.
Always. But it's also after that there is a party, and there's a party mood, and you have to wait a little bit. It's not happening immediately after the dinner. So people have to get
a couple of drinks,
couple of more cocktails, and then they come out and then they dance. And it's always like really, it's cool. People hugging, people posing. It's very cool. So for me, the ideal 1 hour after the first dance. Some people want to have me longer. Some people prefer me to stay longer because they have, for example, like sax playing, something planned. For example, they have dancers, or just something is happening important and they want to have it. So it's really individual, but most of the time 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours after the first dance is my story.
And then, and so basically this is 8 to 10 hours?
Exactly. So when we're in one location like Paissa, it's 8 hours.
8 hours.
You can calculate in 8 hours. And if there is longer preparation, there is something special, then there is something special during the dancing, then you
extend that a little bit.
Then we can have also the bigger package, the full wedding day, which comes, in my case, it comes with an album, with a printed album, which costs a lot of money if you order it separately.
Okay.
It costs like, starting price is 700 euros. So
oh wow.
Yeah, it's not because of me. I designed it first, and then the print is quite expensive.
So basically that justifies it, because
yes,
when I look at the packages, because obviously I don't hire these services all the time, and I know that the couples go through this process, so like it's difficult to understand the different packages. Like obviously for me 4 hours is too little.
4 hours is just not enough. You have like it's like a movie which you start to watch from in the middle, you know? And then you can guess what happened at the beginning, but it's not complete. The story is not complete. And for us, I studied art, I studied design, the storytelling, the whole story, the product, the end product is so important. So when you look at that years after, 1 year after, 5 years after, 30 years after, you see the whole day. Do not think, oh my God, I spent this extra 500 euros on to have the full wedding day. It was
worth it.
It was so worth it. You will never regret. If you have a photographer longer, it's not because I'm trying to push my services longer, but I just know it because I've done also 4 hours. and it's not. It's.
I mean,
it's
I
not
think
the same.
minimum 6, absolute minimum,
Absolutely
and it's
minimum.
still tight.
And it's still
Because
tight.
there's so many things happening.
You don't want to think about photography. You don't want to think, oh my God, I have 1 more hour with my photographer and I have to do this and that. You want to have fun on your wedding day and you want to relax. This is the last thing you want to think about, because you will never ever regret those extra few hundreds or even €1,000 that you spent on your photographer. You will never ever.
So that's
regret
why,
that.
going back to the beginning of this interview,
Exactly.
that's why it's so important that they sit down and they make a thorough and very thoughtful decision on who they're hiring.
Exactly. And then the packages, they probably appear, that's a lot of money. And you know, people, the photographers are not cheap, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of camera equipment, it's very expensive. It's a lot of post-production, you know, it's not only the wedding day, which is full day work, it's also days and days of post-production.
Yeah, what is how is the editing process? How long does it take? What should they expect after the wedding's finished?
Well, after the wedding finished, I normally give them around 20 photographs, just to show off in Instagram, just to send it to the next day or the next 2 days.
Okay.
When I download the pictures into my computer and then I make sure that I have everything, there's nothing. Well, I do shoot on 2 cameras, on the 2 cards simultaneously, so nothing can get lost. Nothing.
That's important.
Everything is what I do on the wedding day is in double. So it's copied simultaneously.
To not lose anything.
Nothing can get lost. It's the worst nightmare, but never happened to me because 2 cards. And when I put it on the computer, I put it not only on the computer, I put it on the computer, on the iCloud, and then on a separate disk.
Not lose anything.
Exactly. So to make sure, if they come and steal my computer, I still have.
So how long should they expect their photos?
Yeah, my editing takes around 2 months. You don't want to rush your photographers or videographers. Video takes even longer.
Okay.
So you don't want to rush this process, because I have to sit down, I have to go through and I'm taking over 5,000-6,000 photographs through the day.
Wow.
So you have to go through with the special programs and you have to edit every single picture. And I deliver a lot of pictures, because I think
that's what I like.
It's so important, because what I think is maybe not important on some photographer thinks is not important for it's maybe very important for the couple or that person. Who came from the other part of the world, who came to Australia, and you know, it's a very important person. And maybe he's not sitting in the prettiest light, and maybe he's, you know, but just to have an image of that person is so important. So that's why I deliver every single guest, and I try to deliver every photograph that I take.
How many photos would they be receiving?
Can be anything from 800 to 1,300 photographs edited.
Wow.
So that's what the couple received. And that doesn't mean people also saying, oh, the quantity versus quality. My photographs are not, they're all quality. They're all, each single photo is done. It's edited. It's retouched. So there is nothing like just some whatever photographs that I deliver to the client. So it's all retouched, thought through.
And that takes time.
It takes days and days to edit one wedding for me. So that's why it takes so long, because then I don't photograph more than, I would say, 30, 40 weddings per season, because I wanted to have
Because you do everything, right? You do the shooting and you do the
I do the editing. Many photographers also send their photographs outsourcing, exactly, which is fine, but I don't like it, because I actually really enjoy to edit.
Right.
I'm a little bit nerdy in that moment. I became from a chatty artistic photographer, I'm becoming a nerd who is sitting in the dark room, because everybody knows dark room and developing the photographs. It's kind of the same process, but it's digital. I like that process, I enjoy it, that's why I don't give it to somebody else.
So we're close to the end of this interview, and I think it's, you're very familiar with the venue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be great that you kind of give us, what it is that you like of photographing at Paissa.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any secret spots? Maybe don't be too specific, but is there anything that you would like to share in terms of photography at Paissa?
I love Paissa. It's such a beautiful venue. It's just magical. It's a magical building. It's a magical garden. It's a magical light. You have a sea view. You have the sunset right there. It's full of flowers. It's so, I don't know how to describe it. It's just fairy tale here.
It is.
And the convenience of the bride getting ready here, and everybody is in the same place. And you do have, it's not everything in the same place. You do have here this specific certain areas where you start, where is the ceremony, there is this. So guests moving around, everybody moves
organic
around.
flow.
It's organic flow, and you never get bored. You don't stay at the same place looking at the same scenario. No. It's beautiful, and it's been recently also not renovated, but there are some areas.
Yes.
And
The terraces.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
to shoot the new ceremony area, which is looking already fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. We're adding fairy lights to the trees as well. So in the night, it's a little bit more,
amazing.
you know.
And the light is gorgeous here, and the people are very welcoming. The family is great. It feels like a family. Oh, it's not a family, but I come and then I feel like at home. You know, I know where to put my stuff. I know that I'm taken care of. I know everything is so safe. It's so exclusive, and you feel like you are somewhere on an island. You know, you're on an island, you're in Ibiza, but you feel like an island on the island. It's so protected and safe, and there's nothing else. It's just you, your guests, your love, the sunset, the sea view. So that's why I think it's so easy to work here. So easy. For me, it's so easy.
Great. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this week's video. Thank you, Masha.
Thank you for having me.
For
it was
taking
such
the
a
time.
pleasure to talk about it.
I'm sure that everyone that is watching appreciates having that internal view, because obviously, you know, they trust you as a photographer, but also there's a lot of information that is sometimes in our minds, and it's best to
no, but sometimes we think it's so natural for us. We know that we've been through this. We're professionals, but people don't know these little things. I think it's so important, because you get married once.
Yes, yeah. and the idea of the channel is to kind of close the gap and help with the communication and help with the understanding of each department. Thank you for all of your help. Thank you for... I'm going to make sure that your details are included, so if anyone wants to contact Masha, you can contact her directly. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, take care everybody. Bye!
Bye!
I mean, I'm taller than you.
No, it's not about this. I don't want you to be too big in the camera.
Okay, we're looking here, by the way. I do look big in the camera. You look small then.
Yeah, because you have hair and you're taller. It's just the question of the perspective. It's not about who is bigger. You're not that bigger. You know, a little bit back. Yeah, stop. Yeah, you see? Now it's better.
The racket is difficult. And I said the show as if it was like a TV show.